Good morning, YouTube. This is the PMK reporter, and today I'm doing something a little unusual. I'm actually speaking my mind, kind of what I would call off the record. Now, I'm home today with my son, and we're playing around, and I'm taking a minute to make this video. Now, here lately, I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, and there's a big emphasis on the graphic performance of the Wii U, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I watched this really great video by Wii, and he addressed the issue, and he did an excellent job. And I couldn't help but want to second what he said in that video. And maybe even just add my own little 2 cents as well. As Wii said, you know, within this YouTube community, there exists two groups of Nintendo fans. You have one group that seems to do nothing but cause trouble and often instigate arguments and fights, and then you have this other fan base that generally gets along really well, and you know, they use YouTube as what YouTube was intended for, if you would, you know, for most of us at least, a place for us to share our opinions, congregate together and have fun, laugh, joke, smile, and play games, the one thing we all have in common. Now, to go on a little further, what Wii said, he brought up the subject of EA and the Mass Effect situation. And you know, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but what I also want to talk about is the so-called notion of 1080p at 60 frames a second being important to a Nintendo fan. You know, you see all these videos claiming that Nintendo fans are waving their flag saying, we're so excited because this is what we're all about. Well, let me set the records, you know, straight for everyone out there that has a misunderstanding of what the Nintendo fan represents. First things first, anyone who in fact is a true Nintendo fan knows that 1080p at 60 frames a second, it's not really that big of a deal to us. Oh my gosh, I know you guys are freaking out. You got the Sony drones, the PC elitists. You're going, what? What did you say? No, really. To the Nintendo fan, 1080p at 60 frames a second is not a big deal. You want to know what's a big deal to us, the Nintendo fans? We're happy to get finally, true third-party support. That's what we're excited about. The fact that it runs at 1080p at 60 frames a second, it's just a nice bonus. But that's all it is. Now, if you are indeed a Nintendo fan, and I can guarantee all of you Nintendo fans that are listening to this video, you can all second this, what I'm fixing to say. And that is, do we care if our first-party quality titles run at 1080p 60 frames a second? And then all the Nintendo fans say, no, we don't. We don't care about that. In fact, it's the very thing that we think about the least. Because we know that most and all first-party titles from Nintendo, it's all about the gameplay and the mechanics and the user experience. There's not a true Nintendo fan out there who is really, truly concerned about graphics. There's not. If you were indeed concerned about graphics, that would make you, what's the term? Red Ocean game. Yes, Red Ocean strategy. Everyone knows that Nintendo represents Blue Ocean strategy. They march to the beat of their own drum. They are little to not to no concern whatsoever about what the rest of the industry is generally doing. Nintendo does their own thing. So the very near notion that a Nintendo fan is up in arm and is parading around with this flag waving and saying, hey, we have 1080p 60 frames a second. Get out of here. It just doesn't happen. And I know that hurts your feelings that we're not concerned about the things that you PC elitists, Xbox drones, or Sony fanboys are concerned about. But it is what it is. That's not our concern. You know what we care about? First-party titles. Finally, decent third-party support. And better online play this generation. Those are pretty much the three top things that a Nintendo fan is worried about. So don't misunderstand or listen to the rejects who claim to be Nintendo fans but do nothing but cause mischief and trouble. That's not what real Nintendo fans do. The real Nintendo fans know and are waiting to just have fun and play games like we used to. Of all ages, all demographic groups, Nintendo, for us, just equals good old-fashioned fun. Stay tuned for part 2 when I address the EA Mass Effect issue.